She was 22 years old, a state-level basketball player who had represented Nagaland at the U23 National Basketball Championship in Guwahati. A gold medalist at the Nagaland Olympics, an honor student who topped her economics class at St. Joseph's College in Kohima. On October 25, 2025, her body was found hidden under firewood and clothes near a ring well below her residence in Old Ministers Hill Colony, Kohima, Nagaland. No one ever imagined that her life would end over something so trivial, a refusal to immediately make tea. This is the case of Vihozhonu Zhao. When I cover stories like this, I'm always reminded just how fragile life can be. One moment you're just living your day, and the next, everything changes. It could be an accident, an injury, something completely out of your control. And suddenly, you're faced with hospital bills, insurance companies, and stress that just doesn't seem to end. In the most challenging time of your life, you need someone who can help you. And most importantly, someone who can win for you. And for those of you living in the US, Morgan & Morgan might exactly do that. There's a reason every mystery has a victim waiting to be heard, just like there's a reason Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm, with over 1,000 attorneys and 100 offices across the country. For more than 35 years, they've been fighting for the people, helping over 500,000 clients recover more than $25 billion in compensation. If you've been hurt in an accident at work or because of someone else's negligence, Morgan & Morgan's team can handle everything for you. The calls, the legal paperwork, the back and forth with insurance companies, so you can just focus on healing. And their track record is hard to ignore. In Florida, one client was offered $350,000 by an insurer until Morgan & Morgan fought and won $12 million. In Pennsylvania, another client's $500,000 offer turned into $29 million. So if you're ever injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Their fee is free unless they win. You can start your claim now by clicking the link in the description or by scanning the QR code on screen. Because when life turns upside down, you don't just need hope, you need someone who knows how to fight back. October 24th, 2025. It was supposed to be an ordinary Friday. Basketball practice had been canceled due to bad weather. Zhao's coach, Salu Kadete from Team ABC, would later say Zhao would usually come even on off days for practice, but that day she didn't turn up. That afternoon, around 2 p.m., something happened at home that would end Vihozhonu's life. The next day, at around 7 a.m., neighbors near the ring well noticed something disturbing, what looked like stacked firewood and discarded materials. When they moved closer to investigate, they realized it wasn't trash at all. It was Vihozhonu. They immediately called the police, and by 7:45 a.m., officers from South Police Station had been notified and arrived to secure the scene. The victim had visible injuries to her head. The deliberate way her body had been concealed made it clear someone had worked hard to hide what they'd done. Vihozhonu Zhao was identified quickly. 22 years old, daughter of the late Kenei-Tuto Zhao from Jakama village. She lived at this very residence with family members. This discovery sent shockwaves through Old Ministers Hill Colony. This was a residential area where people knew their neighbors. But who was Vihozhonu Zhao? Vihozhonu Zhao was born on September 19, 2003 in Jakama village, Kohima district, Nagaland, India. And she was the daughter of Kenei-Tuto Zhao. Her childhood was marked by loss. Her father died on October 12, 2011, when Vihozhonu was just 8 years old. What happened to her mother is not publicly known. No news reports mentions her, and the family has not spoken about her publicly. After her father's death, Vihozhonu and her younger brother appear to have been raised by their paternal grandmother and aunts at the family residence in Old Ministers Hill Colony, Kohima. Despite the early tragedy of losing her father, Vihozhonu thrived. She became a standout student and a fierce competitor on the basketball court. She was a fighter. That's what her coach called her, a fighter who always stood for what was right. Kurilasaku Keiretsu, president of the Kohima District Basketball Association, remembered when she represented Kohima and won gold at the Nagaland Olympics in 2022. She didn't just play the game, he said. She was the heart of the game. She was a role model for every kid who watched her play, proving that hard work and a good spirit could take you anywhere. She had represented Nagaland at the Under-23 National Basketball Championship in Guwahati earlier in 2025. She had joined Team ABC in June 2025. Her coach, Salu Kadete, remembered her as eager to learn and joyful in exploring the fundamentals of the game. Those who played with her described her as passionate, someone who showed up even on off days for extra practice. Her friend Lika Ai described her as not just an athlete, but an intelligent student. Vihozhonu had recently graduated from St. Joseph's College in Kohima, where she topped her class in the economics department. At 22, she had her entire future ahead of her. Graduate studies, a professional basketball career, a family of her own someday. And all of it ended in one moment of rage over a cup of tea. News of Vihozhonu's death spread rapidly through Kohima and across Nagaland. The basketball community was devastated. The Nagaland Basketball Association issued a statement. Vihozhonu was more than an athlete. She was a symbol of hope, discipline, and determination for countless young sportspersons across Nagaland. On October 25th, thousands gathered at PHQ Junction in Kohima for a candlelight vigil organized by the Jakama Village Council. More vigils followed. On October 30th, the basketball community held their own vigil at the DKL basketball court in Seikazo, the court where Vihozhonu had played so many times. Candles illuminated the space where she used to dribble, shoot, defend. Her family member, Lauren Solo, spoke at the vigil. The way she was taken from us was senseless and very cruel. It leaves us with anger and a deep sense of injustice. Meanwhile, police were working to solve what they called a blind case. There were no clear leads initially, no obvious suspects, no witnesses. And the location where Vihozhonu's body was found wasn't where she had been killed. A special investigation team was formed on October 26, led by Additional Superintendent of Police Kei Soriso and with 8 other members. And they worked hard, interviewing family members and neighbors, examining phone records, tracking movements. Forensic analysis revealed blood evidence inside the house, confirming the murder had occurred indoors, specifically in the kitchen. The post-mortem examination showed injuries from a blunt object to the head, resulting in a fractured skull. There were no signs of strangulation or sexual assault. After 11 days of investigation, on the night of November 4th, 2025, police arrested Samuel Zhao, her 31-year-old adopted uncle who lived in the same house. The revelation shocked the community. This wasn't a stranger, this was family. During interrogation, Samuel confessed to his crime. According to him, he asked Vihozhonu to make tea for him that afternoon. And she was on her phone and replied dismissively, not immediately getting up to make it. And that simple act of not jumping to make tea cost Vihozhonu her life. Samuel became enraged. He grabbed a piece of firewood and struck Vihozhonu on the head multiple times. The blows were severe, fracturing her skull, and she collapsed. What happened next showed this wasn't just a moment of rage. It was followed by cold, calculated concealment. Samuel covered Vihozhonu's head with a sweater. He claimed it was to stop the bleeding, but it also suffocated her. He switched off her phone, removed the SIM card, and broke the handset into pieces. Then he kept her body hidden in his room overnight. The next morning, October 25th, he threw the broken phone pieces into a garbage truck. The blood-stained sweater went into a nearby gutter. Then he moved Vihozhonu's body to the area near the ring well in the basement below the residence. He covered it with a sack, clothes, and firewood, making it look like discarded materials. His account matched the physical evidence. The timeline fit. Everything investigators had pieced together aligned with what he described. Police confirmed that at the time of the incident, only 3 people were in the house: Vihozhonu, Samuel, and the grandmother, who was on the terrace tending to plants and unaware of what was happening in the kitchen below. But the community doesn't believe the full story has been told. The T explanation may be technically true as the immediate trigger, but it doesn't explain the underlying hatred or motive. Rumors started circulating on social media. People speculated that Samuel may have harbored deep resentment toward Vihozhonu for years, resentment born of his own marginalized position, adopted outsider, no community recognition, no achievements, versus her celebrated status. Every day in that household, he may have felt his insignificance reinforced. And perhaps he expected, at minimum, that she would treat him with the respect due to an elder male relative. When she didn't, when she treated him as unimportant, stayed on her phone, dismissed his request, it confirmed everything he already felt, that he was nothing to her, nothing to the family, nothing to the community. So some people say probably the murder wasn't about T. The T was just the moment when years of accumulated bitterness exploded. There was also speculation about accomplices. The president of Southern Ngami Youth Organization that took the lead in organizing the major protest rally for Vihozhonu said that given the victim's background as an active athlete, it was unlikely that a single individual could have committed the crime. He suggested that she may have endured severe pain before her death, indicating possible involvement of multiple perpetrators. The logic here is that Vihozhonu was a trained basketball player, young, fit, and athletic. So he demanded a thorough, uncompromising investigation to arrest all accomplices, warning against accepting a lone offender theory. Some posts allege that Vihozhonu's aunt and grandmother participated in the murder. Others shared graphic details about the crime that had no basis in fact, claims about how her body was concealed, details about injuries that didn't match the forensic evidence. The speculation grew so rampant that on November 5th, Kohima police issued a stern public warning. They said those spreading fake or defamatory content would face strict legal consequences, including immediate arrest, criminal prosecution, and imprisonment. So what were the verified facts? Police found no evidence of accomplices. Samuel acted alone. He killed Vihozhonu in the kitchen around 2 p.m. on October 24th. He hid the body in his room and moved it himself to the Ringwell area the next morning. The Port Zokel, the traditional Naga clan organization, did ostracize Vihozhonu's aunt and grandmother from the village as part of customary law. According to Kel members, this was done taking the possible involvement of the aunt and grandmother into consideration. The aunt had been the one who adopted Samuel into the family. The grandmother was home during the murder, though police confirmed she was on the terrace tending plants. However, again, police have found no evidence that either woman was involved in or had knowledge of the crime. The Kel later clarified that no specific period of ostracization could be declared until guilt was established. So this appears to be a case of the community acting on suspicion and traditional customary law, not on proven facts. As Kohima police stated in their advisory, the path to justice for Vihozhonu Zhao requires truth and integrity, not speculation and malice. But there was another troubling dimension to this case, one that threatened to turn a family tragedy into communal conflict. So Samuel was of Nepali descent. He had been adopted into the Zhao family by Vihozhonu's aunt, though the exact nature and legality of this adoption remained unclear. The Port Socal stated there were no official documents, no SD certificate, no indigenous certificate supporting his use of the Zhao surname, only an Aadhaar card. In the aftermath of the murder, some began questioning not just Samuel's actions, but his identity, his ethnicity, his belonging. The Association of Kohima Municipal Wards Council expressed serious concern over adoption practices by many Nagas, calling the case a big eye-opener. They called upon citizens to think twice before adopting non-indigenous Nagas. The implication was clear. Samuel's crime was being linked by some to his ethnic background. Kohima police saw this dangerous narrative taking shape and intervened decisively. In their public advisory, they warned explicitly against inciting violence or communal hatred by linking the crime to any specific community or ethnicity without official evidence. Such activities, they stated, would be met with the full force of the law. The warning was necessary because Samuel Zhao's crime had nothing to do with his ethnicity. It had everything to do with his choices, his rage, his decision to strike a young woman who didn't immediately obey his demand for tea. Domestic violence knows no ethnicity. Murder knows no community boundaries. Violence against women exists across all communities, all backgrounds, all societies. The real questions this case raises are about domestic violence, about power dynamics within families, about why a young woman's refusal to immediately make tea resulted in her death. These are the conversations Nagaland needs to have, not conversations about who belongs and who doesn't based on ethnic origin. Here's important context. Though seldom spoken about and considered a taboo subject in the context of Naga society, domestic violence in Nagaland has become a common phenomenon. It was found that many women remain silent and deal with it privately due to fear, stigma, shame, and societal pressure. Significantly, there was another murder in Nagaland just months earlier, with eerily similar circumstances. One person, identified as Vihozhonu of Thuvapisumi village, was arrested, allegedly for murder of his wife, Vihozhonu, and the victim died due to impact hit by a blunt object on her head. As one representative from Jakama Women's Society said during the vigils, this is not just an issue concerning women. It concerns all. Families must communicate, and both genders must learn to respect one another. Samuel Zhao was charged for murder and concealment of evidence that carries severe penalties under Indian law, potentially including life imprisonment or the capital punishment. The basketball courts where Vihozhonu played have become quieter now. The space where she used to practice, the court where she won gold, the place where her coach remembered her dedication, all of it echoes with her absence. Vihozhonu Zhao was killed in her own home by someone who should have protected her. She was only 22 years old, a state-level basketball player, an honor student, a fighter who stood for what was right, a daughter, a friend, a teammate. Samuel Zhao is now in custody, awaiting trial. The legal process will determine his fate. But regardless of the verdict, nothing will bring Vihozhonu back. Nothing will restore the future she should have had. Her story matters because it shows that violence against women often happens not at the hands of strangers, but within the supposed safety of home. It matters because it raises questions about power, control, and the deadly consequences of rage over the most trivial things. Nagaland and communities everywhere must confront these issues honestly. Vihozhonu's memory will live on in every young athlete who picks up a basketball and dares to dream. That is all for today. Thanks for watching.